I want to explain just exactly what's making him tap or what's making him submit. The actual choke or the triangle choke is basically you have his arm, okay, trapped in with his head this way. And what you're doing is you're applying pressure on the side of his neck, okay? The side of his neck here, and what basically you're pushing in here. And you also have another leg that's coming across. So basically you've got all this tied up in here. And you're cutting off the blood, not his oxygen, but you're cutting off the blood to the brain, okay? Which only really takes about 2 seconds or 3 seconds, right? Okay, let's look at that in the sankaku position again, the triangle choke position. Again, you're here, you drag him, create the opening, make the triangle. Okay? As you're rolling to your side, okay, you're pulling that arm tight, okay, pulling this arm tight up against the side of his head, all right, side of his head here. Curling in your heel, okay, locking underneath your knee. Now you're squeezing your knees together, which creates the choke. Okay, another, or I should say another way to approach the sankaku is start to get the leg in, okay, so you pull, get this leg in. Now what happens if, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to go, for whatever reason, you can't take him to the side. What you do here is you take in the sankaku right from here. What's going to happen is he's going to flatten out like this. Okay? Now instead of rolling him this way, what we're going to do is we're going to roll through here, reach over, pull the leg over. Okay? And end up in the same basic position as before. Okay, let's look at it one more time. Okay, from here, you've got this locked in, okay? For whatever reason, you can't turn him this way. So what I want you to do is sink this leg in a little bit deeper, right? Hook the back of your leg. That makes him flatten out. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to arch my back, which creates a lot of pain, right? And I'm going to roll to this side. Okay? Now I basically still have the triangle choke, but I don't have him in a pin. Okay, I can't apply the choke. So I reach over, grab the leg, push him to the other side, and adjust here, back into the sankaku position. Let's look at one other variation of sankaku as the opponent tries to escape by standing up. I'll do it in full speed, then we'll go break it down. Okay, in this particular move, I secure the triangle choke here. Okay? Now instead of, before I even think about moving him this way or this way, he starts to stand up on me. Perhaps maybe I didn't get all my weight down on him for whatever reason. I stand up, he stands up. As he's standing up, I basically just do a forward roll this way. Okay? Forward roll. And I end up in this sankaku position here. Let's look at a slightly different angle. Okay? I secure the sankaku here. Okay, he stand up. Okay, I take this, put it behind my knee to secure the triangle. Okay, then I'm just going to forward roll over. Once again. I'm here, he goes to stand up. A lot of times, all you gotta do is put your hand down just to kind of brace yourself, right? And as he goes to stand up more, just dive through, wrist, control, and choke. Let's just look at some ways, a few ways just to defend sankaku. Again, if you're in this position, which is not a good position to be in, again, try to turn and face your opponent. And if you find that you can't, and he starts to try to sink this leg in, okay, first thing you want to do here, okay, is keep this elbow in tight and block with your other hand here, right? So go ahead, try to sink it. As he's trying to sink it, and he rolls. Now when he rolls this way, right, you have control, right? Okay, you have control, right? In other words, I've got blocking this, and I'm blocking this here. Okay, so I'm doing this motion, which stops him from creating that triangle. Okay, one more time. Let's go from a different angle. Let's go from here. Okay, he rolls. Again, I've got his foot here, and pushing this way. Okay, now if he locks it in, for whatever this way, right, you have to get this leg off of you. You have to push this leg up. Okay. Once he locks it in is very, very difficult to get out of. Okay, so you have to stop this from coming down by pushing this leg up this way. Okay. And lastly is basically to explode straight up out of it. As he comes in this way here, okay, and he goes to turn me, right? Again, I have to bridge and push everything off the top this way. Right? Judo, basically, you can maintain this hand position and pin him for your opponent. Okay, let's look at one more escape from Sankaku by trapping the leg. As he's coming in, say he hooks the leg in and gets everything tight. Okay, so you can't stop it at that point. Reach over. Take the ankle. Pick the ankle with your, by scooping it. What you want to do is push it straight down until you can lock it into your legs. Okay? At this point, you're going to be stuck here, right? So, and he's going to be trying to come back up into a pin this way, right? So, in order to not let him do that, you reach up and pull him in here. Okay? And as he turns to his stomach, you turn with him this way. Okay? So this is very important to hold on to this. Because as soon as you let this go, he'll kick you back, right? And he'll get you back. So hold on to this part here until the last second. Reach over, maybe secure the far lapel. Turn him into a pin. Okay, once again from a different angle. Trap the leg here, okay? One thing you want to do in this position is keep your head back, okay? Because if you don't trap this leg, he's going to be able to come over the top for a pin, okay? So you want to be able to trap this leg, and even if you want to, you could even hold on to it this way, okay? Once you're, okay, you have to have the right timing, all right? And then what you want to do is you want to slowly reach up, grab, and then you can come on top of your opponent. Defending against an opponent who is attacking me. Now, how do we end up in this position? First of all, I'm going to show you how in a judo match you'll end up in that position. A typical throw is a backwards throw, any type of waza or sacrifice throws. For instance, let me first just show you a backwards throw called tomonagi. Okay, it's a basic move that catches your opponent as he's leaning forward. You kind of swoop underneath him. Okay, now, sometimes in a tournament, what will happen is I'll attack here, and I'll end up right here in this position. Okay, he'll lower his hips. Now, from this position here, he's attacking me in newaza or grappling. He's going for the pin, the armbar, the choke. Okay, so it's important that I know how to defend myself from this position, and how do I get into different moves from this position. Okay, let's go over the basics. Okay, the basics are this. Once I end up in this position, number one thing is I want to stay on either this side or this side. Okay, I don't want to have my back completely on the ground. Okay, nor do I want to keep my head on the ground. Okay, if my head is on the ground, then he's passed by my leg. okay, into a pin. So keep your head up, kind of, we call this a turtle position. Keep your elbow and your knee together here, okay, so, and the reason you keep this elbow and knee together is because he's going to try to pass this leg, right, and you don't want him to do that. You want to block with your elbow and keep this leg inside, okay. So again, here, a good grip to take is reach up, grab the close lapel and the sleeve. Okay, from this position here, I can control my opponent. I could use both my legs, both my arms, and I can see exactly what he's doing. Okay, so we're going to start with a few simple basic moves right from this position here. Okay, the most basic move is from here, simply pull this forward, okay, and what you can do is kick out this knee to flip him over into osaikomi or into a arm bar. Okay, back into this position. Okay. From here, I always want my knee, okay, in his stomach here. Okay. What this does is this blocks him from coming any closer. Right. I want to keep some distance here. Okay. There's a couple different ways to attack position. A lot of jiu-jitsu guys like to get the person in what they call the guard, which opens up a whole other series of attacks. Okay. But I prefer in the beginning just to work here, because this, by leaving this space here, creates other moves that you can do. Okay, let's go over that one last move. Again, cross lapel, cross arm. Okay, one thing that helps this move is for me is to scoot out my hips this way. Right, enables me to get my foot onto his knee. Right, you just try to go from here to here. It's difficult. Okay, so you want to scoot up, kick, over. Okay, let's look at another variation from that same position of the lapel, the sleeve. Now when you grab the sleeve, okay, make sure that you're controlling with just these three fingers here. It's just like in standing techniques. If I grab him with my whole hand, okay, it's not as powerful as if I just grab him with these three fingers and control with just flicking my wrist this way. Okay, so hold here. 4 fingers go inside the lapel, thumb on the outside. Right. Next one. Okay, instead of staying on my side this time, I'm going to scoot my hips out and come a little bit up onto my elbow here. And I'm going to take this leg here and bring it inside. Instead of being like this, defending the opponent from coming closer, now I'm going to slip it inside so he can come closer. Okay? And at the same time, I'm going to slip my arm underneath and grab his bicep or tricep. Okay? And then the tricky part is how to shift your, right, to the other side. So I'm shifting from my right side to my left side. Grabbing the belt here. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come and roll over this way into a pin. And let's look at it again. And you control here. Again, he's right. You're stopping him from and constantly screwing your hips out. Just as you come up to your elbow, bring this inside. Okay. What you want to do is just grab the wrist and the tricep. Okay, and scoot your hip to the other side this way. Once he's here, okay, what you want to do is you want to scoot your hips back underneath. Okay, pull him on top of you, right? This way you can go roll either way. Okay, and now bring it underneath. Kick your legs out to roll, stretch them out into a pin. One important point is when you're in this position here, okay, as you scoot your hips over this way, okay, again, you want to pull him, you don't want to try to just turn him to the side here. You want to pull him closer to you and cup his tricep over here. This way you pull him tight and stretch him out, right? Kicking your legs out this way, okay? Makes it a lot easier to turn him over. Let's take a slightly different variation. Instead of rolling him to the right, we're going to roll him to the left. Okay, lapel, sleeve. Okay, so again, I'm going to swing my hip through to this side here. Okay, now for whatever reason, we cannot say he just stays in tight here. Right? He doesn't let you roll him this way. Okay, so what you want to do here is just scoop up this arm here, right? And the same thing, hip legs, and roll him over this way into a mount position or tate shio, which is a pin in judo. Okay. Again, we're here. We kind of shoot this arm right through. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to come underneath, and sometimes it's easier just to take the lapel and right in back of the elbow here. And what I like to do is just throw it to my, one more time. Again, also you can catch it as he's coming in, throw it to the side. Okay? This time you're going to reach underneath, grab this elbow by the tricep. Okay? And it really depends on what he does, how he reacts. If he reacts in a certain way, you might be able to roll him this way. If he reacts in another way, you might be able to just kick him off this way. Okay? Important is this foot right here. Okay? So let's turn. Okay, right here. Right? This kicks, either roll this way, right? Or kick out. Again, you have this hook here. Kick out over into tate shio gatan. Okay, this time, instead of taking this arm and throwing it through this way, what I'm going to do here is take this arm and throw it straight up. And I'm going to sit up into my opponent, okay, cupping my hands like this and pulling in tight. So you have a semi-choke going right now, okay? From this point here, again, all I do is I stretch him out with my legs and roll him. It's important, right, that you've got to feel this guy coming up on top of you, right? And how you set this person up is I'm going to be pushing down against him, right? I'm pushing him away, he's coming up. I keep pushing, and at the last second, I just throw him this way. I use his momentum against himself. Stop, stretch, roll. Okay, and this next one is going to be basically the same principle where we're going to throw this up, okay, but what we're going to do now is we're going to choke. Okay, so we're here, right? What you want to do is take it, he's pushing, you throw it, clamp him here. What he's going to do is flatten out to try to escape. At that time, you want to bring your thumb underneath his lapel here and pull tight. Okay? From here, what we're going to do is we're going to shift out our hips and push his elbow tighter. Tighter deep into my elbow right here. Right? Here, push in here. Now as I sit up, okay, I'm creating this choke right here. Okay? But most of the time they're not going to tap just from this position. So what you need to do is sit up, keep your head close to him, reach over, grab the belt, and pull the belt. That helps with the choke. Okay? Stretch him here and tighten up. Basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing my shoulder in and I'm turning my wrist down like this. Okay, it's important that you have to grab deep as you can. If you only grab here, it's not going to work. Okay? Grab as deep as you can, and the elbow joint has to be down here. Okay, it's going to work if it's up here. It's got to be down here. So I'm using my shoulder. I'm sitting up on my shoulder, right? And then I reach down, belt for the choke. Again, from this position, a lot of the times what your opponent will do, because I'm leaving some space here and he's got both arms free, okay, is he will kind of clamp down on both legs, right, and he'll stretch out. What he wants to do now is he wants to stretch you so he can pass your leg, right, and then come up with the choke. So what I do is I sit up here, push the head to the side, grab the belt, okay. Now from here, what you want to do is kind of lean back and stick your hand in here, drive it up, and grab your own hand. Okay, this breaks his grip. And from this point on, I want to bring this leg back as far as I can, right? So I can get some leverage here. And I'm going to push straight into him until he rolls over. At this point, he'll still have my leg. And from here, I get the leg out into a pin. Okay, so let's break it down. I'm here. He locks into my legs. What I do now is I'm going to just take his head, push it to the side, come up, come underneath, drive your hand in, right? Grab onto your own hand. Okay, from here, what I do is I kind of lean back a little bit just to create a little, make his hips come up, okay, this leg out, right, and drive into him and switch my hips at the same time. Alright, one more time, but this time the opponent traps your leg. Okay, rocks down, here, come up, fight your way in, here, and as I'm rolling him over, you're going to grab my leg like this. Now in Judo, if you hold this leg here, okay, then it knocks the pin. So what you'll see a lot in a lot of international competition, you'll see the guy holding onto this leg and the other guy trying to pull his leg out. So part of this series here is you have to maintain control, but the most important thing is your hip bone has to be right on top of his ear. Okay, you can't see it from here, but basically the pressure in my hip bone here is pushing right down on the top of his ear. So it creates a lot of pain here, right? And just by pinning his head to the ground, it pins his whole body to the ground. So it's real important, this head pressure, okay? So you keep your hip bone, basically my hips are off the mat, okay? All the pressure of my hips and my whole body's going right through his ear. It causes a lot of pain. Okay, from here, what I'm going to do now is I have a couple options, right? But one is, right from here I can tie up the arm, right? Tie the arm first. Now I have his arm tied up, the pressure on his head, okay, he's in bad shape. The way I get my leg out is I grab his knee and I pull it to me, okay? If I try to push this knee away, the circle that he's created with his legs gets tighter. If I pull it to me here, I create an opening. Okay, so I reach down, 4 fingers like this, pull it to me, and then what I'm doing is to push it against this inside of his knee with my big toe, right on the pressure point. And then from here, what I do is pull my leg out and switch my hips down. And I just hold on to this key lock, and I have a pin right here. Okay, let's look at another variation. Once I have my opponent in this position here, okay, and I have pressure on top of the head. Okay, a lot of times you can't budge him from this position, and he'll work his way back to his knees, okay, and he'll try to stand up. If he tries to stand up, then what I'm going to do is my hips underneath and roll straight over. Okay, let's see that one more time. This time it'll be in full speed. Okay. Okay, a simple choke from this position here. Okay, for instance, if this guy's arm is so tight in here, he won't let you get inside. Okay, basically all you do is you're going to reach down and grab the lapel. On in. Okay, Okay, so the four fingers go in first, the thumb is on the outside. As deep as possible. Okay, then your body is going to be still on top of him here. Right? And all you do here is you take your body and turn it this way. Okay? It's very difficult to stop, and it's a very simple move to get. Okay, to explain the detail of this, my hand is coming in, grabbing the backside of his lapel here. Okay. Now what's happening is, as my arm and my whole body is coming this way, across his neck, my weight is coming this way, right? My hip bone, again, keeps his head turned this way, while my arm is going across his body. So as I arch back, and then my body turns over, that's the time that the pressure is applied. Let's look at another form of that same type of rollover. It's to the opposite side. Okay, so a basic Hikomi-ga-ishi, but it's another variation. First I'll do it, and then we'll break down. This is probably one of the more complex moves in Newaza, but you can use it against a big guy or a little guy. It doesn't really matter because you're not using a lot of strength. The basic motion, okay, is as the opponent's attacking you, you're pushing down on that arm, you're pulling on the belt. Okay, this leg is going to stay straight, this leg is going to stay bent, and you're going to roll over your shoulders, tuck your head, roll over your shoulders, keeping this arm, or this leg, straight. One more time. You're here, tuck, roll, your leg is straight, into the pin. As he's coming into you, again, you're pushing down on this sleeve. Okay, and you're pushing and pulling him here. At the right moment, okay, you're going to come up and grab the belt. But before you grab the belt, you have to kind of shift your hips out, away from him. The reason you're shifting out away from him is kind of because you want to coax him into you, right? And as he's coming into you, that's the time that you throw your hips underneath. So you need that momentum, okay? Let's look at that again. If I was just to try this move, if he was just to sit back on his heels, and I was to try this move, no matter how hard I pull, I can't do it. But if I was to try to get away from him and use his momentum, then already his hips are up off the mat, okay? And then I keep this leg straight, and I use this to the far corner, here. I pull my belt to my head, this way. So really, you don't have to lift him up off the ground. You're just flipping him over on the side. So one more time, the detail. Okay, you're here. Again, maybe you have your knee in between here, right? You're stopping him from coming into you. Right? Pushing him away, constantly moving your hips away from him. And then at the right moment, as he's pushing forward, you pull him, yank him forward, and this fist is going to go right underneath his hip. Okay? So this stops him from putting his hip down. As if he tries to put his hip down and spread his legs out, right? It stops him from doing that because you have your arm right here. The belt pulls right to the head. You tuck it in here and pull this way. Okay, pull him straight over the top. Straight over the top. And then this leg kicks and push off with this leg. You'll end up in this position right here. From here, you can either pin him by taking your leg out, or you can come in to an arm bar right here. Okay? Just by pinching the back of his tricep with this knife part of your arm, placing it down on the mat, and then applying pressure to your shoulder. Okay, basic armbar, you can do it whether he has your leg or whether he doesn't have your leg. Let's look at how to get that armbar a little bit more in detail, because as you turn him over, okay, he's going to automatically grab his belt. Okay, grab your belt. Okay, when he does that, right, it's not easy to just take this arm and rip it off. So what you need to do is, number one, you need to put what I call walk your arm up. Okay, you're here, place your palm of your hand on the mat, and then slowly separate it out until it breaks, right? Once you put it, then you automatically go straight up toward the head, so he can't re-grab his belt. Okay? He's going to try to do that, but you just keep it locked in. Okay, from here, again, you want to come right underneath his elbow, right here, and if you can catch the right spot, right, he'll tap automatically. If he doesn't tap from this position here, right, all you have to do is look for the wrist, pull this down, okay, and then figure 4 your arm, and it's another arm bar. But again, when you go into this other arm bar, it's the same thing. Once you get here, right, you not necessarily have it. You've got to walk your elbow, right, your hand, elbow, until you get the arm bar.